right, can everyone see that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
And hopefully there won't be any freeze ups. I have two kids that are Zooming from home with remote learning. So hopefully it doesn't freeze up on me or anything. So they should be wrapping up for the day. So we should be okay, I think. So hopefully there won't be any interruptions. How much time do I have? It shouldn't take me too long to go through the slides. And then if y'all have questions, you certainly can ask questions.
You're my last presentation of the day.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
I mean, as long as you want, as long as they have questions, I guess.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you very much. I'll go ahead and get started. Hello, everybody. I'm Adam Pitts. I'm a regional admissions counselor with Midwestern State University. I live and work in the Fort Worth area to be more accessible to all the students I work with in Tarrant County and Parker County. I also work with transfer students as well. So even if you're even thinking about that pathway, I still would be a main contact for you. There's also Reggie Peak, who's a new transfer admissions counselor with us, who will be working with some of our transfer students in Tarrant County as well. But no matter what pathway you're looking at, I can help you with that and figuring out admissions and scholarships and all that. But we'll kind of talk about a little bit of everything today. So for one thing, y'all know who I am. I would be your assigned admissions counselor, but we do have a place where you can actually go. If you go to msutexas.edu/admissions/meetyourcounselor.php, you can actually find my contact information on that page. You can request a virtual session with me if you'd like for me to do a one-on-one Zoom session with you. Like a Q&A or something like that. You can request that through that site, and we can set up a time that might work with your schedule. But it's also got my contact information there too, my phone number, email address. So anytime you have questions about anything, certainly reach out to me. I certainly want to be accessible to you and help you through the, getting more information about MSU or helping you through the application process and your next step. So, but that's a good page to go to if you're wanting to connect with me virtually or via phone or email. For some of you that may not be familiar with Midwestern State and our location, we're located in Wichita Falls, Texas. That's only like an hour and a half from North Fort Worth. I would say probably from Arlington, might as well go ahead and say about two and a half hours, I guess, depending on traffic. Getting over to 287 off of 35 could take a little longer depending on traffic. But once you get on 287 and make the drive up to Wichita Falls, it's only from 35 up, it should only take about an hour and a half to get up there. And there's no traffic usually once you get on 287. You can do 75 to 80 pretty much all the way there. So that drive is nothing to me now. And when I make the trip up there, I've made that trip so many times now. It doesn't really take that long for me to get there. But I feel like we are just like the perfect distance away from home, far enough to give you the experience of going away to college, but yet you're not that far from home. You still can get back for a home cooked meal maybe every now and then. You're close to all the restaurants and entertainment that takes place in the DFW area. So there's a lot of students who certain weekends may decide to come down and enjoy a concert or something like that that's going on. So you're not that far away from the Metroplex. And then there are some things to do in Wichita Falls. I mean, there's a water park there. We've got a number of different restaurants. There's a mall that's there in Wichita Falls. Several different eating establishments and all that, national chains and hole in a wall type restaurants. There's a downtown Wichita Falls where there's additional shops and restaurants. They do a farmer's market usually on Friday or Saturday. So there are things to do to occupy yourself with there in Wichita Falls. I always like to point that out because I think sometimes people think, well, gosh, are you out in the middle of nowhere where there's nothing to do? And there are some things to do there in Wichita Falls. So, and then as far as our size, we're relatively smaller compared to your medium to large size public universities in Texas. We have about 6,000 students enrolled from 44 states and 54 countries. Our student to faculty ratio is like 18-1, which is something that we really value. I think students like it because they really get to know their professors, they get to know their peers in their classes. I think a lot of students use the words homey and family to describe what it feels like to be on campus. The campus is about 255 acres, so we're not the smallest of campuses out there, and we're not the largest either. But it's a really nice campus feel. We're kind of nestled in between a really nice upscale neighborhood and then just like other city amenities just on the other side of campus. So we're very close to like the mall there in Wichita Falls, very close to, really probably within walking distance to the mall and restaurants just on the other side of our campus. So we are a public university, a 4-year public university that has a liberal arts distinction, and we're really the only public university in Texas that has that liberal arts distinction. So, we're kind of proud that we kind of create an environment, a well-rounded environment for you, where we'll challenge you to think critically, help you with your communication, help you be a team player that'll make you well-rounded for the careers today, but also in the future. So that's what we kind of, liberal arts kind of, helps make you more well-rounded for the careers that are today and even for the careers in the future as well. So we feel like we kind of prepare you in a lot of different ways, even if you change your mind about your major or if you decide to continue on with your education. And you see the words there on the screen there. I feel like we're affordable. We're not too big, not too small, good academics, and then we've got that individual attention that we provide for you with that intimate college environment that we provide. So those are just some of the kind of signature themes I feel like for MSU, what makes us a little bit different from other colleges that are out there. As far as campus life, there's 14 different fraternities and sororities, over 100 student clubs and organizations. We have Division II athletics on campus. Our sports include football, men's and women's basketball, soccer, tennis, and golf, and then women's volleyball, softball, cross country, and track. So, lots of things to do on campus. Students do come out for like the athletic events and all that. So we have a good sports culture on campus. But there's all kinds of clubs ranging from like ultimate frisbee to rugby. There's marching band and cheerleading, as well as academic clubs, such as the Model UN, honorary academic fraternities. It really is something for everyone. And if we don't have it, you can actually create an organization if there's something that we don't have that you have an interest in. So, and we host a lot of fun events throughout the year. We have a lot of Caribbean students on campus, so we have a Carib Fest every year, and usually that's a parade on campus. You get to sample different foods from the Caribbean usually that week. There's like a fashion show where you get to see how people would dress in the Caribbean and whatnot. So it's really kind of a week celebrating diversity on campus and all that. So it really is a fun time for everybody. Another fun week is homecoming week. There's different festivities going on that particular week. We have our annual cardboard boat race, which is student organizations building cardboard boats, and the goal is to get across Sykes Lake, which is right there near the campus. The goal is to get across the lake and back without sinking. And usually it's the engineering club that does really well with that. They're the ones that usually win the prize for the best cardboard boat. But it's really a lot of fun watching people try to get across the lake in a cardboard boat. Of course, everybody's wearing life jackets, of course, and all that. So, and then we usually in the night with a bonfire. There's a fish fry as well. And then there's like then we have our big Saturday football game at the end of that week on Saturday. So then, lots of fun things going on campus. Even though we're a little bit smaller in size, we do have a very vibrant campus life, and there are things to do. So, and as far as housing, lots of different housing options. And we're a smaller school, so it's not like you have like all these different housing options, but we do have a variety. You've got 3 traditional residence halls, 2 on-campus apartments, and then we have 1 living learning residence hall, and that's Legacy Hall. That's our newest residence hall that we have. It's only like 2 or 3 years old. So if you're wanting to live in a residence hall that has all the bells and whistles and newer facility, laundry facilities that can text message you when your laundry's done, all that. If you're looking for that type of housing experience, Legacy Hall might be the place for you. It is a little bit more pricey compared to some of the other housing options. So, but if money's not an issue, then certainly, Legacy Hall would be a good option. And our living learning programs are housed within Legacy as well. So that allows you to connect with other students that are on the same path as you are. So nursing students could be together in a hallway, business could be together, engineering could be together. So you're actually sharing classes with students that live on the same hallway as you do. And and that's something I highly recommend no matter what school you're going to. If they have a living learning program, certainly sign up for it, because it's only going to help you make a smooth transition from high school to college. And usually students have a higher GPA if they're not only living on campus, but they're also tied into that living learning program. So it only helps you out, with, in your success in college if you're tied into a living learning program. So I highly recommend it. So you can actually do housing with us. Usually if you're doing it like mid to late fall or even late fall, early spring, that's still a good time frame where if you apply for housing, you're more likely to get your preferred housing option. If you apply by early spring or even by mid-spring, you might still have a chance to get your preferred option. So it's not like you have to do it extremely early, but the earlier you do it, you're more likely to get your preferred option. And then once you submit a housing application, you do have the option of, whenever you're ready to kind of make your commitment for MSU, we require a $250 prepayment. It's not a deposit. It actually is just your prepayment. And once you've made that prepayment, if you do it before May 1st, you're allowed to select rooms by the end of May. Like you're the first batch of students to be able to actually select your rooms and all that. So I know this past year we did allow, and we probably will allow it this year as well, where if you're not able to make that prepayment of $250, you can actually contact the housing office and they'll waive it for you. I have a feeling that still will be something that we will allow students to do this coming fall as well. So just keep that in mind. Don't let that kind of hold you up if that's an obstacle for you. We do require most freshmen to live on campus unless someone lives like within a 60-mile radius of the campus. So usually that, being down here in the DFW area, we would require people to live on campus if they're coming in as a freshman. Transfer students are not required to live on campus. So if you decided to go to TCC and get at least 45 hours of college coursework and then transfer in, then you're not required to live on campus. You could live in the apartment. So there's a lot more flexibility on the housing options if you have at least 45 college hours post high school and you're transferring in. So, and if you come for a campus visit, we always try to ensure that you have the opportunity to see our housing facilities as well. So, and then this gives you just kind of an idea about our undergraduate majors and programs. Hopefully you can read it okay. I recreated this to try to make it a little bit more updated and friendly. So, but we have probably over like 70 undergraduate and graduate programs at MSU. There's a lot of great options to choose from at the undergraduate and graduate level. Our 4 largest academic areas would be health sciences, business, education, and mathematics and science. Some of our most well-known programs in health sciences would be like nursing, radiology, respiratory care, dental hygiene, athletic training, and exercise physiology. So that health sciences is the largest department that we have at MSU. So we have a lot of people coming to us for nursing, radiology, respiratory care, and those types of programs. We also have pre-professional programs. You can see that on the far right side, pre-medicine, pre-dentistry, pre-pharmacy, pre-physical therapy, pre-law, pre-vet. So you can combine that with any science major or even a health science major, really any major of your choice, but a lot of people like to pair that up with either a science major or health sciences major. So, and like I said, health sciences would probably be the largest, business probably second largest, education's our third largest in size. But you can kind of see there's a lot of great options under fine arts as well. We have a lot of state-of-the-art facilities for art. You know, if you're interested in pursuing art, you can see the different areas of art that we have: graphic design, art education, painting, drawing, photography, all of that. We also have theater, mass communication, on the humanities and social sciences side, English, global studies, psychology is a very popular major within the health science or within the humanities and social sciences department. In the math department, I would say mathematics and science and engineering, I would say mechanical engineering is very popular, as well as biology and chemistry. If you're trying to compare that, if you're trying to pair that up with like pre-med or something like that. So, a lot of good options to choose from. And I'll always recommend, going online, looking up some more details about each major. And if you come to visit campus, we certainly would try to get you connected with the academic department and all that. We will be, I'll mention more about tours a little bit later on, but we will be probably trying to do our Mustangs Rally event this year. If it looks like we might not be able to meet in person, but we'll turn it in. We're going to be turning it into a virtual event. And even if you tune in virtually with us, you'll still have like a time where you can actually connect with the academic department for that virtual Mustangs Rally event. So just kind of put that in the back of your mind. That would be a good date to set aside, or a good event to set aside to be a part of, so you can learn more about some of our majors and all that. All right, and as admissions, usually a lot of people have questions about admissions. Hopefully y'all can see the charts on the left. We do have a rolling admissions process at MSU. It only takes us maybe like 2 to 3 weeks to make an admissions decision once you get everything turned in, your application and all your supporting documents. Although our priority deadline is not until March 1st, I usually recommend high school seniors to apply probably like mid to late fall, with the goal of gaining acceptance by December 1st. If you're a little bit later than that, that's okay, because March 1st is the priority deadline date. So you still got some time there. But if you can get your admission done by December 1st, then it allows you to apply for some of our higher scholarships that we have available that have a deadline for usually during early spring. And then you would be ahead of our April 1st merit-based scholarship deadline. So if you're getting things done by December 1st, that would be kind of like the first goal. The first goal would be to try to get admitted by December 1st. If you're not able to meet that priority deadline, I would say try to have everything done by March 1st, and that way you're ahead of the April 1st merit-based scholarship deadline. Okay. And if y'all have, I can talk about transfer admissions, but I'll skip that for now. And if y'all have questions later, I can always come back to that. But as far as automatic admission, if you're in the top quarter of your class, top 25%, that's going to be automatic admission. Or if you have an unweighted 3.0 GPA, that is also automatic admission. So if you're not, You know, if you don't have like the best rank, but you've got that your solid 3.0 unweighted GPA, that's going to be automatic admission. Okay. And you can see on the chart here on the, we are going to be test optional for spring 2021 and fall 2021. So if you can kind of see the requirements, if you're providing an SAT or ACT, you know, you can kind of see the requirements on that top left gray box, and then the one beside it is if you apply with no test score. So if you don't submit an SAT or ACT, we're mainly looking at just your GPA, and if you've got at least a 2.75 to 2.75 to 4.0, that's going to be pretty much, it'll either be automatic admission or at least an unconditional admission. And then there's still a chance of admission if you're like between a 2.5 and a 2.75. So, so there's, you know, this is kind of new to us, you know, with being test optional, but we are providing that as a way of still getting in based on your GPA, even if you don't have a test score. Now, the one thing I'll remind you about, if you're trying to get scholarships, it's probably good to try to take the SAT or ACT. If you're trying to be exempt from the TSI state placement test, then it's good to take the SAT or ACT. Usually that's been the main way that students would be exempt from the TSI test. It would be based on their SAT or ACT scores. So if you're a pretty good test taker, if you've got at least an average SAT or ACT score, that might be high enough to at least exempt you from the TSI assessment test. If you're planning on taking the TSI test anyway, if you're taking dual credit, you probably have already taken the TSI test, or at least for 2 sections. You may have to take the math portion a little bit later on if you haven't taken the math portion. But if you're planning to take the TSI test, then it's not that big of a deal. Then you'll just take your test, and we'll go off your scores to figure out what classes to put you in when you come in as an incoming freshman. But if you're trying to be exempt from the TSI test, or you're trying to qualify for scholarships, I'd recommend trying to take the SAT or ACT if you could, but we're not requiring it. So, I mean, you still could get admitted and still go through we can still complete your application process and still grant you admission without that SAT or ACT score. I did want to mention, if you happen to have, for someone who's like borderline in meeting requirements, you're not quite meeting automatic admission criteria or unconditional or conditional, we do have a new program that we started last year. So if you weren't quite meeting automatic requirements or unconditional or conditional, we have this new Vernon College to MSU bridge program. And that allows students to, what we do is we send you an agreement via mail. We'll mail you a letter and an agreement form. When you send that agreement form in, we'll change like a denied admissions decision to an admitted decision as part of that Vernon College to MSU program. Students have the chance to live on the MSU campus. They take one class with MSU and then the rest of their classes at Vernon College. The neat thing about that is that the price that first year or first couple of years actually, or first 2 semesters really, it's just 2 semesters, 1 year, 2 semesters, that cost for the first year is actually a little bit cheaper because 3 of your classes are based on the cost at Vernon College, which is pretty cool. So you once you get to 18 hours between the fall and the spring semester, once you get to 18 hours, then you take the rest of your classes full time at MSU. But the whole time you're living on the MSU campus, you're involved in doing everything that a normal MSU student would do. It's just you're part of that bridge program starting out, and then usually after that second semester, you're full time at MSU after that. So that's a brand new program we rolled out. We had a few students, or several students, actually participated for this fall semester. And but that's another option that some students have that are kind of borderline in meeting requirements. So I'll keep going. If y'all have questions later, we can always come back to this. As far as paying for college, we try to provide an affordable option. We always say at MSU, you have the chance to enjoy like a private university experience at an affordable public university price. So, we try to alleviate some of that heavy debt that comes with going off to college. If you go to msutexas.edu/tuition and fees, that you can pull up more information about costs and all that. I would say, for us, cost per semester, tuition and fees, housing, meal plan, and books would be maybe like around $10,000 a semester, give or take, depending on which housing option you choose, which meal plan option you choose. It might be a little bit higher than that, but so if you're budgeting about 20 to 22,000 a year, then usually that's covering everything at MSU. And like I said, that's tuition and fees, housing, meal plan, and books. And that's not even considering any kind of financial aid. I'm just giving you the total cost, based on those major expenses that you have at MSU. We do usually 75% or more receive financial aid at MSU. You can kind of see the priority deadlines there on the right. We do have a number of scholarships. Our merit-based scholarships can range anywhere between $500 to $2,500 per year. And we have, if you have a really good SAT or ACT, you can always apply for our Red Wine Presidential Scholarship, or even apply to our Red Wine Honors Program. Red Wine Honors only requires you to be in the top quarter of your class, and you can be meeting the requirement to at least apply for that program. And they offer like $4,000 scholarships. So, keep that in mind. That could be that scholarship, Red Wine Honors and Red Wine Presidential, is stackable with our merit-based scholarships. We're pretty good about stacking scholarships at MSU. One scholarship I did want to bring to your attention would be the Pretty Scholars Program. We'll talk a little bit more about this a little later on, but that's for first-generation students. So if mom and dad do not already have a 4-year college degree, then you would meet the requirements to apply for that scholarship. So I'll talk about that in more detail here in a few minutes, but we do try to provide some opportunities for you to kind of cut that debt down and make it more affordable for you. Okay. There are a number of special programs at MSU. We do have study abroad. A lot of our students go to like England, Spain, France, Grenada, Central America. Sometimes students can be approved for other trips as well. There's undergraduate research opportunities where you have like a faculty mentor, you collaborate with faculty on different projects, and then students usually receive like a stipend, like a $1,000 stipend per semester when you're working on your Eureka research project. So that's kind of a unique opportunity at MSU. And then when you're working on like a research project, that looks good on your resume, but it also can even help you with, making connections on the, or networking with employers that might be, so you might get your foot in the door somewhere when it comes to, potentially getting hired, for that first job right out of college. So that's just something to kind of keep in mind. On that slide, it mentions the Pretty Scholars Program, Red Wine Presidential Scholarship, Red Wine Honors Program. Like I said, those are really good programs to be a part of, and usually there's some money that's involved with being a part of those programs. So it's definitely worth taking a look at. And then you can kind of see on the lower right, faculty, the full-time versus part-time. And at MSU, the one thing I wanted to kind of mention was that our faculty that come to MSU, there's a reason why they choose MSU. They like that we are smaller and that they're able to connect with the students in their classes kind of one-on-one and actually get to know their students by name. So, mid-sized to larger universities, a lot of times professors are not able to do that as well. So, so there's a reason why professors might choose to actually come and teach at MSU, and that's because they do like that close connection with students. They like to be able to get to know them well and all that. So I've actually heard professors share that at MSU. I remember one professor saying I had several options. I could go anywhere I wanted to go, but I like that I like that intimate atmosphere at MSU where I could actually get to know my students. So that's usually the kind of faculty that we attract to MSU. All right, and then this kind of gives you a rundown of the merit-based scholarships, freshman distinction all the way down to freshman recognition. So starting off with like a 1070 SAT or a 21 ACT would be automatic scholarship money, you know, for those automatic merit-based scholarships. And this would have that April 1st scholarship deadline. So long as you've applied and been admitted and have your highest test score on file before April 1st, this would be automatic money that you would that we would offer you, in addition to whatever financial aid you qualify for. Take note that we are a Raise Me institution. So if you have an account with Raise Me, make sure you add MSU to your account, and you could be earning scholarship money with us. I know typically that's more ideal for like a freshman or sophomore in high school. That way they can kind of be building that or earning scholarship money earlier in their high school career, where it's actually a little bit more substantial by the time they're a senior. But do check that out. I think for seniors, I think the earning period ends like in October. So you have like a short window as a senior, but if there happen to be any sophomores or juniors signed on to the session today, the earlier you do it, the better, the better off you are in terms of being able to earn scholarship money with us. And you can be awarded money for being a part of Avid, Upward Bound. You get rewarded for, you get earned money for, you know, the grades you get for certain classes, your AP scores, SAT, ACT scores. There's different ways you can earn money with being a part of Raise Me. I think there's only a handful of Texas institutions that are part of Raise Me right now, but I think more and more are joining each day. So you may want to take a closer look at that. If you just type Raise Me into a search engine, you know, you should be able to pull it up pretty quickly, and you could just create your account and start earning money with various schools at the same time. So that's pretty cool. We mentioned here the President's Distinguished Scholarship and Red Wine Honors once again. So President's Distinguished is is only for like 10 students. So it's very competitive. They'll select 10 students to receive the $7,000 per year scholarship. But if you've got usually it does require a pretty high SAT. Like if you're in the like 1270, or if you're kind of up there, you know, 26, 27, you have a good chance of qualifying for that one. Red Wine Honors just requires you being in the top quarter of your class. If you're in the top 25%, or you have a really good SAT or ACT, you could qualify for their scholarship money. Have a $4,000 level, then a $7,000 level, depending on SAT, ACT, and all that. And that deadline's January 15th. So if you can actually, like I said, apply and be admitted early, by December, you have a shot at getting that application in for the Red Wine Honors program. Sometimes they will extend that deadline out, and you'll have more time to apply to that program. And they'll just, you know, keep awarding money as long as they can. So sometimes they will still award money past that deadline date. But if you know, as a priority deadline for yourself, it's good to try to have everything in by January 15th, if at all possible. So, and you can see the links there in the top right corner, msutexas.edu/admissions/scholarships. That's how you can pull up all this on our website. And then you have the Donor Services Scholarship website at the bottom right of that slide. So if you go there, you'll see some additional scholarships that we have that you can apply for. The Donor Services Scholarships require a scholarship application. The merit-based ones listed at the top here do not require scholarship applications. You just have to apply and be admitted with your highest test scores before April 1st. So just keep that in mind. All right, and then the Pretty Scholars Program. So once again, if you're a first-generation student, if mom and dad do not already have a 4-year degree, you can apply for this scholarship. The deadline's not until April 1st of your senior year. They do have that gross income level. Usually you have to be between 50,000 to 125,000 a year. You do have to have a FAFSA on file. You do have to have at least a 3.0 GPA. So just kind of, but go check this out. If you meet the criteria to apply for this one, it is worth your time, because if you're, what they'll do is they'll narrow the list down and select students for an interview, usually in the end, like late spring for an interview. And if you actually receive this scholarship, it is covering tuition and fees, housing, meal plan, books. I mean, it's basically covering everything. And then it also covers study abroad as well. So this is one that you definitely want to roll the dice on and take your chances with, because if you get it, it's covering everything. So so if you meet that criteria as a first generation student, you certainly want to seek this one out, okay? And then we got Mustangs Guarantee as well. This is a financial aid program we have. So if you do FAFSA, you're going to be automatically considered for this. So if you're a Texas resident, you're Pell Grant eligible when you do your FAFSA between October and December. As long as you have it all done before May 31st and you're Pell Grant eligible, and your gross income is 65,000 or less, you have a chance to qualify for Mustangs Guarantee. What Mustangs Guarantee does is it ensures that your tuition and fees are covered. So, as long as you're not getting, sometimes students get enough scholarship money and other grant money to where Mustangs Guarantee just never does kick in, because you've already got tuition and fees covered. But if for some reason you come up short with other scholarship money and all that, Mustangs Guarantee is there to help cover the remaining amount of the tuition and fees. Okay, so it's good there. It's kind of good as a safety kind of grant program to make sure that your tuition and fees are covered. So it's one of those programs that does not cover housing, meal plan, or books, but it ensures that your tuition and fees will be covered, okay? And then campus visits, we are doing we've been doing campus tours since July. We were limiting it to one student and family per tour time. Now we've opened it up to 2 students and their families per tour time, and that's usually at 10 a.m. and 2 p.m. Monday through Friday. And we also do select Saturdays at 11 a.m. So if you go out to the website there, you'll be able to see the times you can sign up for, and we'd love to have you on campus. We're following all the CDC guidelines. We're following social distancing protocols. Everybody's required to wear a face mask. We're wiping down the Welcome Center after each campus tour. So we're trying to keep things safe for everybody. And so if you want to come for a visit, you can certainly do that. We're open for campus tours right now. I'm not sure about our big visit days like Junior Day, Mustangs Rally, Transfer Day, all of that's probably going to be a virtual type visit, at least for the fall anyway. And we're going to try to make that as interactive as possible if we turn it into a virtual event. So just kind of, visit our site frequently, and we'll be making updates to our campus visit website. If you go to msutexas.edu/visit-MSU, that's where you can find all this, all the campus visit information, okay? And that's where we'll be updating information as well. If you're not interested in an in-person visit, we also have a really good virtual campus tour experience. We have this virtual person that pops up and introduces you to the campus and shows you around campus. So just, maybe you may want to check that out as well. So, but, and I think that's it. How did I do on time? And is it too, well, I guess I went for a good while there, but does anybody have any questions? I can open up the